Did you know that here in Miami, we have an incredible coral reef in our backyard? And even if you've never visited one, our reef is doing a lot for you. Florida's coral reef is the only nearshore reef in the continental United States. It's protecting our coastline by reducing wave energy an average of 95%. That's a value of $665 million every year in coastal protection. Corals support ecotourism and important commercial and recreational fisheries too. Compounds from coral reef organisms have led to life-saving treatments, making reefs vital not just for biodiversity, but for modern medicine also. But unfortunately, our corals are at risk of disappearing. That's because corals are super sensitive to changes in the environment, like water pollution and rising temperatures, which can also lead to diseases. While many of the impacts challenging coral reefs are global, one of the largest coral reef impacts was local. It was the dredging of PortMiami that happened from 2013 to 2015. This over $200 million project was meant to encourage supersized shipping vessels to visit PortMiami. But when the Army Corps was deepening and widening the shipping channel, it kicked up sand and rock, which smothered the once thriving reef just off of Miami Beach. When I dove in to see it, I saw a lifeless moonscape. I thought we had missed the reef, that we had the coordinates wrong, that we were on a sandbar. But then I realized that there were sea fans and sea whips sticking out of the sand all around me. We were on the reef, but it was buried. I swam as far as I could, but I saw no end to the damage. Miami Waterkeeper brought legal action to protect these reefs under the Endangered Species Act. The Corps and their contractors not only downplayed the damage, they actively tried to cover it up. They claimed that only 6 corals were killed. They even showed the judge a photo of healthy staghorn coral, claiming it was taken just after the dredging had ended. But it turned out to be a photo from the Cayman Islands taken in 1992. We found it online with a simple Google search. Miami Waterkeeper and our partners spent over a year untangling the raw data. And in 2019, we published a peer-reviewed study proving that millions of corals were likely killed, specifically by the dredging. We were able to force some restoration through our litigation, funding the University of Miami's Rescue a Reef program to restore 10,000 Endangered Species Act-listed staghorn corals in 3 years. Years later, NOAA backed up our findings, publishing their own report that 278 acres, that's 210 football fields, of Miami's reef had been destroyed by the dredging project. But despite promises, the vast majority of this damage has still never been fixed. And now more and more evidence is coming out connecting the PortMiami dredging to a devastating coral disease outbreak that was first spotted right next to the project. It's since spread throughout Florida and the Caribbean, killing tens of millions of corals and even causing some local coral extinctions. Not only that, history could repeat itself at Port Everglades, just 30 miles away in Fort Lauderdale, where their shipping channel also crosses Florida's coral reef. NOAA has said that this would be the largest permitted coral damage ever in the history of the United States. The Port Everglades dredging was supposed to start in 2017, but Miami Waterkeeper and our partners sued to ensure that protections were put in place to avoid similar damage to the corals as PortMiami. The reef near Port Everglades is one of the last places in Florida where the threatened queen conch still breed. And it's definitely the last place where you can still see them living with healthy staghorn corals. Pilot studies trying to move the conch haven't gone well. They hop back towards their homes using their single little claw foot. The political pressure is mounting to just get it done, even without the proper protections for our reef. We simply can't allow the last of our reefs to be destroyed and for all of these special creatures to disappear along with them. To have our reefs survive into the future, you can help by supporting us in getting the damage from the PortMiami dredging fixed and preventing future damage at Port Everglades.